Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Jujutsu Kaisen episodes 22 through 24. And so this might surprise you. The reason we're doing these final 3 episodes together is because 22 and 23 are a two-parter. I don't know why they put a two-parter before the final episode of the season, but they did. There could be a reason. I mean, the 24 might also technically be part of the closure of this season, but still. Either way, because of this, I want to do these next 2 episodes together, and I just decided, let's just do all 3. Instead of leaving one left off at the end, let's just do all 3 and close out this series. It's been a great ride. This season has been fantastic. It's just really a phenomenal shonen series that in a lot of ways surpasses a good number of shows that came before it. Even its inspiration, Bleach. It just takes a lot of these classic shonen ideas, modernizes them, and gives us a story with great characters, great depth, great power system, and on top of the anime at least, a fantastic soundtrack and amazing voice acting as well. And I've watched both the dub and the sub, because while I'm reacting to the dub, I have been watching other people's reactions, most notably Rough Senpai's, with the sub. And I like the sub voices, I prefer the dub ones, especially for characters like Itadori and Gojo. But also for Nobara, very much for Nobara. I'm fine with her Japanese voice. It's just her English voice has a little more spice and personality, which is perfect for her character. So I feel like those 3 particularly just are better in the dub. And they're fine in the sub. They're just better in the dub for me. But since this is the final video for this, for now at least, we do have to replace this. And this is a Impressions continuation series. So, I had been thinking of what to replace this with and all. What would be the best move in that regards. And I think it would just be smart to go back to Watchmen. And yeah, I'm not waiting until the afterthoughts to bring this up, because I just feel like we're going to get that out of the way right away, because I feel some people might have already guessed where this was going with them knowing this is an Impressions continuation series. We need to get back to Watchmen. We put it on hold for a bit because it was getting very heavy, and as such was starting to get a little tricky to watch. For me, just for me, because of my personal thing with sometimes things getting a little too heavy. So I thought Watchmen might be the best choice. It just made the most sense. We're like just under halfway through the series and everything. Since there's no season 2 planned and everything. So we can say series. But then thinking about it, I also started thinking Watchmen is double length. It's in terms of its runtime. It's about an hour long each episode, just under. And right now we have a slot with 2 shows on it. And this might be a spoiler, but we might have another slot that has 2 shows on it soon. So I was thinking maybe we should hold off on Watchmen just a little bit more until we start to get those slots back down. Because having 2 slots upcoming with possibly 2 slots with 2 shows on them each, like we did when Obi-Wan and Miss Marvel came out and all, and having a series with hour-long episodes might be a little much to handle, especially considering going into October we're also going to have the Halloween special movies to record. I feel like it might be a little much to handle. So although Watchmen was the first thing I was thinking and just the obvious route to go, I've decided in the end, not yet. We're going to hold off on that just a little bit until we can cut down the shows, because it's just, if we're having 2 extra shows a week, plus the extra Halloween special movies, and on top of that, still doing donation reward movies as well. If we're going to have all of that, we're not going to have time for one of the series to be double length. Or if we do that, it would cause basically a lot less to be pre-recorded ahead of time, which is something I don't really want to do. I actually really like having things pre-recorded ahead of time. It makes it feel like I'm actually, accomplishing shit, which makes me feel good and makes me want to record more. So, I think it's best to leave off on that for now. And to be fair, Watchmen is also one of those series that the first 4 episodes we did are kind of lost now, because they were put onto BitChute and BitChute blocked them, and I don't have the files anymore. I told you guys this when I mentioned how I was going to start keeping all of the recording files. This is why. So shit like this doesn't happen again. So Watchmen's already a series that I'm going to have to figure out, am I going to put it on Daily Motion? Will that be safe? Will I have to put it on Breach? I got to figure out exactly what would be the best option for that, in terms of which will have a less likely chance of getting taken down. So I still have to figure that out anyway. So the question then goes to, well, what do we put in that slot for the time being then? So I was looking at the impression continuation stuff we've got. We've got quite a few things. And I've decided to kind of sort them into 2 separate categories for now. 2 separate tiers in a way. There's the tier of more fun, shorter stuff that I can get through, not necessarily in terms of episode length, but in terms of runtime, and a tier of more longer, I guess you could say more serious stuff. For example, in the serious, longer stuff, you would see stuff like Agent Carter, Daredevil, Euphoria, stuff like that. In the shorter, more fun tier, you would see stuff like Panty and Stocking, Jormungand, Cobra Kai Season 2. And so I was thinking, okay, I think right now, just because of everything else, we want something shorter. We want something more fun and something that we'll be able to get through pretty well with everything that's going to be, coming up during this month. Something that would be that would add to the schedule, the current schedule and everything well. And since we're not really doing anything in any particular order from when we first checked out the impressions with them, we're just kind of going with whatever we want to go with whenever we want to go with. So I'm thinking that we are going to replace Jujutsu Kaisen for the time being with Panty and Stocking. I just feel like it's the best choice. It's a shorter series. It's fun. It's goofy. It's light, and it's easy to get through. So I think it's the best option right now. And then once once we get through October and everything, once we get our schedule down and we don't have slots with multiple shows again, we'll be able to go back into getting the longer series up. And Watchmen obviously will be a top frontrunner for that, for at least the Impressions continuation slot. But yeah, it's just, again, as I stated, I'm probably going to be bringing in a second slot, having 2 reactions on it a week, just because there's so much coming out soon. There's so much coming out, and there's a few things that I need those slots for. There's a couple things specifically coming up, like, really soon, that I need those slots for. One thing already has a set slot. And I'll just say right off the bat, that's Chainsaw Man. That slot is already set. But like Spy Family coming back and Dead End Season 2, those need slots. Those still aren't set. So I gotta figure that out. Because both of those I don't want to wait for. With how much I love them both. But yeah, so I just wanted to mention this in the pre-thoughts instead of the post-thoughts. I'll probably bring it up again there. But that is what is going to replace Jujutsu Kaisen starting on next week's reaction. Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt will be returning. So, that being said, last we left off, we had, again, not a filler episode, but felt like a filler. It was just baseball. It was kind of the final part of the cross-school promotion. They decided, it was basically drawn from a box, and normally it is the one-on-one fights, but this time I guess Gojo put in baseball, and that just happened to be drawn, so baseball it was. And despite the Kyoto branch having a Mekamaru automatic pitcher, the Tokyo branch seemed to still win. So that's a fun little way to end that off. But now we have 3 more episodes to finish off the season. We have some setup with the villains, including a new villain who seems to have come out of nowhere. So I have no idea where this is going to go at all. I don't know how these 3 episodes are going to close things out, especially with these first 2 of them being a 2-parter. Because honestly, they could have finished off with the last episode, and it would have been a completely fine closure to the season. But again, I'm not familiar with the manga, so I don't know what these next 3 episodes are going to contain. They might be an even better conclusion to the season. We'll have to see. In the meantime, let's just get this started, because we talked for quite a while on what's replacing this and everything, and all of that jazz. So let's just get this going and hope for the best. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Throughout this season, we've had obviously plenty of opportunities to see Yuji shine. It's pretty damn common. He's the main character, of course. And we got to see that especially during the fight with Hanami. So, having this finale, this final, I guess you could call it an arc, showcase the other two members of our trio, Nobara and Fushiguro, who both have had moments to shine throughout the season as well, but nowhere near as much. To see them truly shine in these episodes, Fushiguro finally letting go of, his overthinking and allowing his instinct to kick in, and Nobara just being absolutely insane in the best way, which is how we were introduced to her, and is wonderful to see come back in full force here. Getting to see this with both of them is really damn good, and really closes out the season well, because it helps give more to their characters, while at the same time being just a really badass, cool way to end things. So I feel like the actual plot of this, with the curse, the bridge curse and everything going into these two brothers, was well done as well. It was interesting. As you're learning about the bridge curse initially, you're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. It's kind of a little bit of a mystery element to it. And then once you find out about the two brothers and everything, once they come into play, and especially once you find out what they are, it goes from that mystery aspect to to the idea that curses are more diverse than even the rest of the season had made us think. That there's a lot more that can be done with them. I mean, we find out about these three brothers who are hybrids of cursed spirit and human. And that when they're tiny little insignificant bodies that can't do anything are fed in the same way of Sukuna's finger to a person, they take over that person's form and are allowed to, take shape themselves. And we see that they are unique from other cursed spirits we see, even like the ones that Itadori and Nanami took on, which were humans that were transformed into cursed spirits by Mahito. These ones, are very different than even that. Yes, there were humans who were transformed, but they were transformed not by cursed energy, but by actual living cursed beings already. Again, hybrids between cursed spirits and humans that took over another human's body. It's a different situation, and is why in the end they don't disappear. They die. It also shows that these beings can feel emotion. We see mostly in the older brother, I don't remember their names, but we see how he cries and how he even releases his technique when he feels his younger brother is in danger, all because he genuinely cares. It's not even just the idea of he was told he has to care, so he just thinks he does. No, he actually genuinely cares for his brothers. So those tears are real. And someone's honking out there. Sorry if you heard that, but yeah. So those tears are very real, and it gives a very different perspective on them than others, which is, again, something that Yuji takes note of because of, his empathy. Nobara is a lot more okay with it because she understands, I guess, more understands the stakes of being a Jujutsu sorcerer and that people are going to die. And Yuji understands that. Again, I believe Gojo told him that when he recruited him originally. But even though Yuji knows people are going to die and that he's going to see some terrible things, he still has that empathy and he's trying to stop it as much as he can. He doesn't want to be behind it if he can help it. And he still acted, even though he hesitated like for a second there. He still acted. He didn't stop. He knew what he had to do. He just it did bother him because again, he's empathetic. And the fact that both of those, as well as the special grade that Fushiguro took down, were all special grades. The fact that we got to see these students take down 3 special grades, maybe not on the level of the likes of Hanami or Mahito or whatnot, but still, that's impressive because they're still in training. They have a lot to learn still, but their growth has been exponential. Fushiguro had a lot of potential in him that was even recognized by Sukuna, but he kept holding himself back. He kept overthinking things and not really even realizing he was doing it. It was something that he wasn't able to unlock. But here we see he lets go. He is able to create an incomplete domain, but enough of one to be able to turn the tide of the battle. And he acts on instinct. He goes wild, and you see it in his face. He kind of looks like he's going crazy. But that's him letting go. Not worrying about things anymore, but putting his life on the line for the fight and for the goal of protecting others. And he succeeds. It takes a lot out of him, but he succeeds. And we see in the fight with the brothers, Itadori, again, he kind of takes a back seat to both of the others in this arc, in these 3 episodes. He gets a chance to shine. He uses his Black Flash and everything, and he definitely has a great input, but Nobara shines during this part. Nobara goes absolutely crazy, using herself as a straw doll effigy to do that voodoo that she do. And it scares the brothers, especially the older brother. Like, he shows genuine fear at her insanity, that she's willing to do that she's willing to play this game of chicken. And it's amazing, and to see how far she's going, and with the marks on her, the marks of their blood poison and everything, it looks so cool. And I've seen art of that before. I've seen art of her with the markings on her face. I had no context for it at all, so it was, I guess, kind of a spoiler, but honestly, what I was thinking was completely wrong, so it didn't actually spoil me on anything, really. I was thinking it was some technique of hers. And I didn't even know if it would appear in this season or not. Again, I had no context for it. I've just seen pictures of her with those markings. That's literally it. But finding out the actual origin of that, it's like, oh, okay. But seeing how crazy she goes as well with it, and how she even utilizes her techniques and everything in this battle, it's amazing. And again, it kind of brings us back to when we first met her. Getting to see her crazy side, getting to see how intense she can get. Like, even during the school cross-promotional battles and everything, even when she's, like, fighting in that, we don't get to see her truly at her best, I feel. This was Nobara at her best. This was what we want to see from her in terms of action. And so this was definitely a huge highlight for me, and obviously the reason I use that as my thumbnail. But yeah, like this also set up for the oldest of the 3 brothers, who is still with Mahito and Geto, and he's going to be a problem later on because he's probably much stronger than his brothers were. And I'm just curious as to where this is going to go from here. We know that Gojo apparently has another mission for them, so I assume that's where Season 2 is going to start. But I don't know how things are going to escalate. And you know they're going to, but I just don't know how. We've got a couple new characters in the bad guys' side. There's that mysterious monk we saw before, the androgynous one, and now we have the oldest of these three brothers. So we have a couple of new villains to contend with as well. On top of the ones we already had. We still have Jogo, we still have Hanami, we still have Mahito, and we still have Geto. So we still have all of those enemies, plus the new ones. Even the guy we saw during the invasion, the one who was going to take on the girls and then just bolted after Gojo broke the veil. He's still around. While the other guy, the coat rack guy, got taken into custody, it's like the other dude is still around. He got away. So there's still so much that could be done going forward. And I'm excited for it. But there is something else. The day I'm recording this, I believe, is actually the day of the release on Crunchyroll of Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the movie. So you can definitely expect that coming in the near future. I'm going to get to that. That's going to probably be one of my weekly movies or something at some point, or maybe just something special if I can get to it, if I find some extra time. But I do plan to get to that pretty much as soon as possible. It will be obviously uploaded after this finale reaction, so you wouldn't have seen it already by the time you're watching this. But that is definitely coming in the future because I very much want to see what the prequel features. You know? I know it's a prequel, and I know it's actually based off a manga that was written before the main series. The Jujutsu Kaisen 0 manga, which was called something else, was written first, and then Jujutsu Kaisen was written sort of as a sequel series in a way. But the movie, in terms of the anime, came after as a prequel. It's interesting in that way. But it is a prequel. I know it involves Gojo. That's all I know. I know he has a notable role in it. But that's pretty much all I know about the movie. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see what it's about. I don't even know when it takes place compared to the main series. Like how many years beforehand or whatnot. I don't know. But I'm very interested to find out. So yeah, we will be reacting to that coming up. But like I said in the pre-thoughts, for our weekly slot, we now have the open space on Tuesdays. And that is going to be, once again, replaced by Penny and Stocking with Garter Belt. I would have done Watchmen, but again, going into October and everything, well, I mean, at this point, like, at the point you're actually watching this, it is October. But the point I'm recording it, it's not yet October. So keep that in mind. But going into October, with all the other stuff I'm going to have to do, with the Halloween specials and everything, and just all these other things, plus having multiple shows on different days, it's going to be just too much for me to bring in a series that's like has hour-long episodes right now. So we're going to hold off on Watchmen a little bit more, and we're going to get a Panty and Stocking for now. Something lighter, quicker, easier to handle on a week-by-week basis. Once we cut down on shows per slots and everything, and we only have one show per slot again, and once we're past October, we can start worrying about bringing back Watchmen at some point. Which would probably be like the next time the slot for Impressions continuations happens. So, although I definitely wanted to get to that, it's just I feel it's not the best decision right now. I want to keep things going with the pre-recordings and everything. So I feel like the best decision is to hold off on that and go with this instead. And I'm excited to see more Panty and Stocking. I actually really enjoyed the first episode. It was actually a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. And I think it's because it doesn't take itself seriously at all. Like, it's very clearly meant to be as ridiculous as it sounds. And I think that's going to be a big appeal to it. So we're going to, once again, check that out starting right away next week. But in the meantime, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of these final 3 episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen? Season 1, mind you. And if you know any spoilers for the manga going forward, please do not spoil me. This series I am enjoying way too much. I do not want to get spoiled. But I would still love to hear your thoughts on these final 3 episodes. And if there's anything I missed, like in the dialogue or anything, please, you can feel free to tell me that. As long as, like, it is something I missed while watching this. That's fine, as long as it's just no spoilers from stuff that is talked about and revealed in the future and all. You know what I mean. Either way, thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.